Yo, Top Billin to ya. All right, Top Billin. On this one here, it's going to be a repost of a film study that I did on Georgia quarterback Dwan Mathis way back in last year's spring game. So obviously we don't have any more film from Dwan Mathis. He ended up having an issue and having to sit out the entire season. So he didn't get any more film. So this is still relevant. However, I want to point people into that direction that may have not seen that particular content item. But before I do that, man, I wanted to talk about a little bit more about the Jamie Newman thing, right? So I find it hilarious, right, from all this time that I tried to warn people that you cannot manufacture hype and it just be what it is, right? You had to think logically. If you've watched Jamie Newman last year play football, right, not go back and watch some highlights or something like that. If you watch the entirety of his season or the majority of his season or whatever like that, you would see that the guy has some flaws in his game, and it was more of a projection thing, right? If people giving him a ton of hype. He wasn't a tried and true spectacular football player that you saw that was just like, oh man, this is a top 5 pick. People calling him Cam Newton and everything like that. That's projection stuff, right? You just, right, the size. He has a little bit of athleticism. He's not a super great athlete by any stretch of the imagination. But as far as his football prowess, his quarterback prowess, some of it left a little bit to be desired. His accuracy, in my opinion, in the mid-range and quick game was at best, especially against viable competition. So he took off on teams like, I don't know, like Twinkie University School of Arts and Design. Like, he would take off on schools like that, really pad his numbers, but against the teams that you would expect him to rise above the occasion and kind of lead his team. And we've seen this before, right? People will use goofy shit like he didn't have a ton of talent around him. Well, that's false. He had, in the scope of the ACC, he had as much talent as he needed to win the majority of these games. Wake has some very serious talent around it, especially at the wide receiver position. They go quite a few deep at the wide receiver position, and they have really good coaching. But you can't say that he did that against the teams that you wanted him to come and show himself to be a very good competitor and a very good quarterback. More than likely, man, he shit the bed. It's just what it is. Right? He had some terrible performances, and then he just had kind of mediocre performances. The accuracy dipping 50% a lot of the times like that, even south of 50% against some teams, right? The Clemson game, that was terrible. And as we saw, that wasn't a Clemson defense that was just all world. It wasn't. It lost a ton of talent or whatever like that. But we've seen throughout the history of college football guys that are on teams that don't have as much talent as some of the big boys. These guys come out and really make a good account of themselves against those type of teams, and that really sets them off and really puts them on the national radar. So is he a bad quarterback? No, he's not a bad quarterback, but we don't know exactly how good he would have been or anything like that. So for people automatically penciling him in or pinning him in as a top quarterback prospect in his draft and UGA winning the national championship because of him and everything like that, I thought that was a little far-fetched. And I've said this numerous times, so you guys can go back and see all that. But spinning that forward or going in reverse, who is to say a guy like Dwan Mathis is not as good as Jamie Newman or doesn't have the same type of ceiling as Jamie Newman? He's a better athlete than Jamie Newman, first and foremost. I don't know sure what his mechanics are looking like now. You'll see all this on the thing, so some of this stuff could be a little bit – some of it is dated, right, because you're going to see him performing in an offense that he will not be performing in, throwing to some guys that he will not be throwing to, also going against defensive competition that he won't be going against as well. So maybe you could say that some of the guys that he was going against is akin to some of the guys that on some of these other teams or something like that, if you think that Georgia is stacked on defense. But it's a good barometer at the very least to be able to see his mechanics and see some of the stuff that he goes through and some of the stuff that he needed to work on at the time. So he could have since improved. He could have stayed the same. He could have regressed. We don't know, but it's just something to have. as kind of a barometer to see where he was at that particular point in time. So that's all I wanted to say, man. But now you can see everybody jumping on the train. You see a lot of people saying, oh, he didn't do that good against good competition and stuff like that, when everybody was hyping that man through the moon, right? He was going past the moon. To the moon, Alice. But it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to that old school film study on Dwan Mathis and see where he was at the time. All right.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.
I like some of the stuff that I saw from him in the spring game, right? Especially in the quick game. Let's check this out right here. I believe he's just going to be throwing a quick curl to Matt Landers right here, right? So what I not a big fan of with Dwan Mathis is his mechanics, right? Especially the upper body mechanics. We can see his throw motion right here. Very 3/4. Yeah, definitely kind of funny right there. Something funny going on right there. But man, he gets the job done, and we've seen throwing motions, different type of throwing motions all over college football. So it's really not that big of a deal as long as you get the job done. But here we go right there. Doesn't necessarily step to the target, but man, he can be pretty accurate in the quick game. What I noticed about his balls though is, I'm not sure if this was tipped or not, but throwing a spiral, I don't think it was tipped, but throwing a spiral, definitely not in his repertoire each time. But nice throw right there. Look at the product placement, right on the Matt Landers right there, getting the job done. All right, I like this particular concept right here. You're gonna have John Fitzpatrick, the tight end, running a dig. You have a cut split right here by Trey Blunt, your Z receiver. He's gonna be coming on a shallow cross or drag. I believe you got kind of a clear out route by Matt Landers here in the slot. So you're gonna be working. Also, I believe you'll have table route right here by James Cook, Weapon X himself. All right. See him right here on the pool. Get that. You gotta maybe towards the numbers right here. I noticed sometimes he holds it kind of low, and then with the throwing motion, I don't know, a lot of traffic down there. So you want to get the ball up a little bit more right there. But look at the pocket feel. And I noticed he has really good pocket feel. He's able to climb the pocket right here. You see Brenton Cox pushing the pocket. Brenton Cox. Uncovering right there. So my man slides up in the pocket, avoids it. It's almost like that scene you see in practice where they had like the broomsticks and stuff like that. It looks just like it. So avoid that bad boy. Keep your eyes upfield and look. Running against zone coverage. The shallow cross uncovers. Right there. Nothing but space and opportunity. So great play on his part right there. All right, really no completed balls down the field from Dwan Mathis, but it wasn't his fault. He threw a couple of them that should have been caught down the field, and we'd have probably been looking at his performance a little bit different right here. So Matt Landers is a talented receiver, no doubt about that. Extremely fast, has some really good hops and stuff like that, but suspect hands, or suspect just in the moment of truth, right? So we see Dwan Mathis here on the pool. You would like to think that he knows what the coverage is right here, and he probably will want to manipulate that a little bit better. I believe, I can't totally say right here, was looking like a split safety. Definitely a split safety thing going on right here. So you definitely want to try to look this guy off right there. So Dwan, at this particular point in time in his career, is going to stare everything down. So he kind of leads the coverage over there. And then we see Quay Walker right here. I tell you, the thing about Georgia is, although he was going against the second team, everybody on the second team was a damn superstar in high school. A bunch of 5-stars. 5-star Brenton Cox, 5-star Adam Anderson, 5-star Quay Walker, Tyreek Stevenson, Devon Wilson, Tyreek McGee, Nate McBride right here, Devontae Wyatt. You can't tell me Georgia's not loaded to the gills, but you see my man uncovering right there. So he doesn't even really get that much into it. It's kind of a fall away jumper right here. He's not necessarily stepping into the throw, but he has really good arm strength, right? Even despite the throwing motion. And look where the ball goes, right? So you got DJ Daniel battling Matt Landers right here. This should have been caught. This was actually a really good throw in traffic. Lewis Seen's not able to catch up to it right away, right? So I believe. Look at that. Put it up in the air. My man came. 2 hands on the ball right here. You got to have strong hands. Put 2 hands on the ball. Grab that bad boy. Take the contact. Pull it in. Nope. It looks like he's more worried about the fall than anything right there. He actually has it in his possession. But drops the ball. Look, he dropped the ball before he even got down. Like he let the ball go to kind of brace himself. Looks to put 2 hands down. So he drops the ball just to brace himself with 2 hands down. And you got on football pads, fam. You got to just hit the ground, baby. But that would have been a great play by both players. But that was a good throw by Dwan Mathis. All right, back to the quick game right here, working with the tight end, with the linebackers. All right, see him on the pull. Let's look at the lower body mechanics for a little bit right here. All right. I like that initial pull step right there. Get good depth right there with the spacing. Crossover step, plant, shuffle, hitch. Get it out there. Make sure you shoot that towards the target, which he's doing right there. This is actually a really good pass. And it gets in there. You got Channing Tindall, another person, damn near 5-star that I didn't mention. Get the ball right here to Big John Fitzpatrick. Nice. Right in the numbers, right towards the face mask. Excellent product placement right there. Move the chains. All right, so I like a lot of these 2-man route concepts into the boundary. I believe you have my boy right here, Trey Blunt, running a corner route right here. And Big John Fitzpatrick, I believe, will be running an out route right here. So 2-level concept. And he actually goes with the deeper concept and throws a very good ball here that Trey Blunt should have had. All right. Maybe it's just that he's such a tall kid right there. You got to get that ball up, though, a little bit quicker. I don't know. I get a little weary with that. But there you go. Look at that. He originally looked like he may have wanted to go to Fitzpatrick right here. So this actually does a good job of, or at least they taught him to look, this forces the corner, who's pretty much in a cover 2 state, right? It'll force him to really play the underneath, and that'll open up Trey Blunt on the corner. So he looks at that right there. You see that? Holds the corner right there looking at Fitzpatrick. Then he goes with the deeper stuff. So you can see him trying to peel back right there. That's how you get the ball over the top of a corner that's sitting in cover 2. So he hits him. Look at this. Boom. Right there. Trey Blunt has the ball, right, with a foot in. It's like he was more concerned. I'm not sure which one he was more concerned about right there, but he should have just tucked this bad boy in and he would have been good. But he got hit by Chris Smith. Look at that. He barely has the ball when it's coming down. That's what it is. Probably a bad catch right there, but ball out. But good throw by Dwan Mathis and good use of eye manipulation, and the mechanics were pretty proper as well. All right, so here's a young quarterback for you, guy who's more of a project. That's why I think he's so perfect, because you develop him for a year or 2 behind Jake Fromm, and then he could be ready to go. And shout out to Stetson Bennett. I'm going to say Stetson Bennett for a little bit later, because I think this guy's a perfect backup quarterback right now. And he did some very good stuff in here, man. I like Stetson Bennett. I liked him before too. So, but check this out right here. He already had his mind made up that he wanted to go to his safety blanket right here, John Fitzpatrick on the inside in a tight slot, flexed out. But I think Matt Landers right here eventually uncovered going against DJ Daniel. But he already had this, but I'm not exactly sure what route this was supposed to be. I'm not sure if you're supposed to just be running a quick curl in the middle like that, or if it was one of those kind of off option drifter routes where you find the void in the defense and then come. But one of these players, I think Latavius Brini right here at a dime back, kind of sifts under it, or he's playing man coverage, right? And he's right in the hip pocket, and Dwan Mathis actually throws the ball to the inside, pretty much throws it right to him. All right, you see him staring it down right here. I want you to look up top, though, right here. So look at that. He's uncovered. If he was kind of scanning right there, he could have moved the ball at least right there. Probably would have got a first down or something close to it, or at least gave himself a chance. But he wanted to push the ball beyond the stick, so I definitely understand that since it's 3rd down and 6. But not a good throw right here. Really not a good decision either. I'm not sure what route this is, though. So, yeah, it does look like more of one of those sit-down routes in the void of a zone right there. But it wasn't executed good by John Fitzpatrick, and this was a poor throw. Pretty much right to Brini. Yeah, it was. It looked like Brini was the receiver. So you'll get that with young quarterbacks. All right, we see fabricated pressure by Georgia right here. Chris Smith, the safety, ends up coming and getting a sack. However, he's able to still get the ball off because it's just one of those one-hand sacks. And watch the throw. Watch the product placement of this bad boy. Once again, Matt Landers, look at that. Climb the pocket, try to avoid the rush or whatever like that. But look, he still gets on there. He does. Man, he really gets pretty much a lot of into every throw right there. Look at the hip rotation and then look at the shoulder rotation as well. Almost like a chuck and duck kind of action going on right there. But look at the ball, man. Look at the trajectory. And look at the product placement. That's perfect. The boy Matt Landers, look at that. Hits him right in the hands. Look at this. That wouldn't have been dope. Those two throws down the field of Matt Landers right here. I have a feeling Matt Landers is going to be extremely frustrating. Hopefully that's not the case, but I feel like he's going to be frustrating for you Georgia fans this year because he looks like somebody who can take the top off of defense, 6'4", 6'5", or whatever he is like that. But man, terrible. He had quite a few of these in this game. All right, a lot of the work is done pre-snap. You see somebody on your inside receiver off coverage right here. And you know you have a slant call, that's pretty much easy pie, especially if you know that they're in man defense and the rest of the routes are being flooded to the opposite side of the field. So, not much to it right here. Just put it on him. Got to get that ball out. He can actually get this ball out much faster. You see he's already rounding out his route right here or coming out of his transition. And now he's just going to throw it. That's what QBs do when they're young. They wait to see it happen instead of throwing it open. Right now, as soon as he sees him stick that foot in the ground, that ball need to have already been out and leading him into this direction right here. Then he probably could have caught the ball and continued to run, right? But he waited a little bit. Now everybody's converging on him. Still great recognition though. All right, little bonus action right here. You get the trick play. You see my man with the over-the-shoulder catch, showing Matt Landers how it's supposed to be done. Good catch right there. And I know a lot of people were saying like Lewisine would have lit him up. Look at the space right here. You got to actually know when you're down on that football field, there's a ton of space that you can't really see from the TV or even from the stands really or whatever like that, man. When you really get down on there, this probably would have been a touchdown even in a real game. He would have made a move on Lewisine, but good catch. Got to get that ball. 5 points of pressure. I'm not sure what that is right there, but get the ball into the crook of the arm right there and make sure you tuck that away. But great play and great talent, man. I'm really intrigued by this kid. I think in 2 or 3 seasons, we could very much see him definitely be competing for the job. Obviously, you're bringing in some heavy hitters as well. It depends on how long Jake Fromm stays, but I must stress that Stetson Bennett looked good as a backup quarterback, and I liked him before, and I like a lot of the stuff that he brings. He's a very athletic kid himself. So, but as far as a project, kind of a third guy, I think it was a great trade-off in the fact that he's not going to upset the apple cart, and he's one of these guys that you can still use in the manufacture game. You're trying to manufacture yardage, whether it be read options, or you see right there, throwback passes and different stuff like that. Same kind of stuff that Justin Fields would bring for you. But also, man, people don't want to say it. I think he may be just as good as an athlete as Justin Fields. I'm not sure Justin Fields is the type of sudden athlete that a lot of people made him out to be. He's a really good athlete, but not that type of sudden twitchiness about him. And Dwan Mathis, he can open it up and really go. Like, is he somebody, like, if they were to make him a receiver, I really do think he would be like a Matt Landers. Like, he has that type of athleticism there. So, I don't know, but let me know what you think. You think it was a good trade-off right there to be able to get this kid and groom him along under Jake Fromm, and then bring him in with the Carson Beck and some of these other people. Make sure you're at patreon.com, man, dropping them recruiting nuggets for you, man. You can know who some of these kids will be in the future that it's looking like right there. So patreon.com/committed to the G. Obviously, it's your boy, the Underground King, Murph, and I am out. Peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.